Hello and welcome to the Baldur's Gate 3 Top 5 Subclass Mods. These are by far... Oh, Astarian saw something. These are by far only the mods that I think are unique and interesting to play. And if you want to spice up your game, this is probably something that you're going to want to download. First off, we're going to be going over the Path of the Giant Barbarian for Barbarian. It was made by So in Life, and it does exactly what you think it does. Basically, it allows you to go ahead and become up to 2 sizes bigger than your normal size once you reach level 12, because I'm level 12 right now. And you can use a bonus action to hurl anything, whether it be creatures or objects, and eventually you can get a Mighty Impel, which you can throw extremely big, heavy in objects. As you can see, I'm in combat with these little chuckleheads here. I'm just going to go ahead and activate my rage. Now, at a certain level, you're going to also get an elemental bonus, so you can basically apply an element to your rage. It's really not as important as anything else. The size is really what you want. So I'm going to go with fire, and as you can see, I am far bigger than I should be. So this basically is the whole mod. It just literally is just you become big and you can throw things, and that's pretty much it. Next up on our list of mods, we have the Dimensional Traveler. Now, the Dimensional Traveler mod was made by Magical U, and it's interesting in that it's clearly themed around Gale. And what it does is, first, it maxes out your intelligence to 22, and severely weakens your strength. Now, the idea is that you are bound to Mystra, and essentially your connection to the Weave is really unstable and things like that. And there's a huge bunch of updates for it, but the gist of it is you can cast mods, or cast spells. You can cast spells without a spell slot. You eventually get the ability to teleport, and you can teleport a pretty decent range using that ability. At higher levels, you get the ability to become ethereal and force creatures to surrender. In addition to, at 12th level, you get a disintegration ray, which is absurdly powerful, but all at the risk of angering Mystra. If you get Mystra's gaze on you and cast a spell in this way, it can kill you instantly. Let's go ahead and see what this guy can do. We're going to get them in range. I'm just going to go right off the bat, go for the really level 9 disintegration ray. There's 2 different versions of this ray. One is concentrating and one is just straight up a diffusion ray. Either way, you really want to be careful when you use it. I want to go with the line and see how much... I mean, obviously this is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage, but I want to see if Mystra can go ahead and see this. Mystra didn't even see it. Oh, no, she did. Alright, so this is perfect. We're going to get Astarian and Shadowheart out of the way. Alright, so Mystra's gaze is on me now. And supposedly, if I go ahead and cast a spell, that'd be very bad. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the disintegration ray again. And see what Mystra has to say about it. Yeah. So, he's been afflicted by Mystra's Retribution, which does 20d10 plus 100 fire damage. Obviously, you don't want that to happen. It's kind of like a punishment for trying to cheese the game, but it's still really entertaining to use. Other things can happen. It can turn you into a giant frozen statue, and it's just a little fun. It spices up the game, which is really what these mods are about. Up next, we have the Bloodletter. Bloodletter is a rogue subclass, and it is, of course, themed around the ability to manipulate blood and kind of use that with an anatomical precision. They can inflict wounds that cause bleeding, and eventually they gain the ability to go ahead and just straight up teleport into blood, which is pretty fun tactically. They also gain the ability to go ahead and just damage anyone standing in blood, which is pretty good if you're facing a lot of people. You can go ahead and grievously wound or kill a creature that has less than 50% of their life. You can enter a blood tribute state by sacrificing half your current hit points. By doing that, you get an extra action. So this is just another one of those mods that really just does something entirely different. Obviously, you don't have to put it on Astarion. I just put it on Astarion because I can. You get a plethora of different kinds of abilities that go ahead and cause bleeding. This causes silence, things like that. All in combination with, of course, sneak attack, which is, you know, overpowered as it is. not that was a sneak attack because I'm not in combat, but you get the idea. It's just another fun mod that you can kind of fool around with. The blood vials cost blood essence points, but at higher levels you don't have to worry about that. You get them back on a short rest, so it's not at all costly to just chuck them all over the place. Honorable mention goes to the Hexblade, which was made by Fariat111. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, the Hexblade is, of course, the Hexblade, which was released in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And it does essentially what you'd expect the Hexblade to do. You're a warlock. It is a warlock subclass. And you can go ahead and create a hex weapon. You can, of course, use Hexblade's Curse to go ahead and get advantage on attack rolls. In here somewhere. There it is. For some reason at the end. So you use Hexblade's Curse, you curse a target, get a little extra damage, advantage on attack rolls against them, crit easier. It's pretty good. And of course there's bonus invocations, and the Hexblade, of course, gets additional smite spells rather than some Hexblades, which don't get that. And if you also get the invocation Eldritch Smite, which adds an extra little oomph to your warlocks, which can now smite, which I am a huge fan of, so no problem there at all. Next up in our list of little subclasses here, we have the Dread Overlord Warlock. Now this was made by Dread Overlord, and essentially all this does is it goes ahead and makes it so you can animate crap tons of undead creatures. Unfortunately, I do need a corpse here to do that. Alright, to start things off here, let's go ahead and summon the staple of the Dread Overlord, which is the Skeletal Warlock Undead. This is a unique summon that you can animate, and it's essentially a low-level Warlock skeleton. He knows a few spells and can be relatively useful in combat. In addition to that, we also have the Skeletal Giant, which is my personal favorite. It summons... Okay. Well, I can go ahead and show. It summons this guy. He is a giant skeleton. He has a variety of different abilities. He can lacerate, things like that. Let's go ahead and say hi. While they're dealing with that, here we have the Skeletal Warlock. As you can see, he's got Slow, Death Ward, Scorching Ray, Ray of Sickness, little things. And this mod, of course, comes with a group of additional mods that adds a bunch of extra spells to the game, which is fantastic. Most of them themed around undead. See how our Skeleton Giant is doing? He is doing pretty good. As you can see, they're pretty big. They're pretty big. They're pretty fun. And he packs a lot of horsepower into his attacks, which is awesome. You also get this ability at higher level. This little guy can possess creatures and cause shadow tendrils to appear. I remember before it used to summon a dragon, but I guess the mod got updated, which is fair. It was a very OP ability, but this is still really cool. And you also have the ability to go ahead and have a Shield of Souls, and you can inflict curses on creatures. When you kill a creature that is afflicted with your curse, they turn into a zombie. So that's also pretty fun. And next up here we have the Oath of Phoenix Paladin. Now this is interesting in that it's really similar to Barbarian in a lot of ways. You do get a rage-like ability, and you get a plethora of abilities that deal fire damage and also radiant damage. This does specifically work well with Karlach, just given her fiery temperament. And also that she just seems like a pretty good person to be a paladin, in my opinion. Don't want to get rid of her barbarian rage, but at the same time, you know, you get Hellish Rebuke, which is pretty fun. As you can see, you get this barbarian rage-like ability. I can't do the very fun thing where I can jump through the air because I just use my bonus action. But these are all fueled by your channel oath charges. And essentially you get the ability to leap through the air to creatures that are lower than you, blow them up. That's always fun. You can go ahead and cause a trail of fire to fall behind you. And you can also just straight up breathe fire, as you can see. That is it for our top 5 Baldur's Gate subclass mods. I'm always on the lookout for new ones, so if I get to find 5 more that are interesting, I'll go ahead and share them. If you like the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out because I only have like 11 subscribers, and I'd appreciate it. Alright.